in terms of how would I frame NLP, you know, there's a question. Do you ever get asked, what is this NLP stuff? It's a difficult question because you think, how long have you got? You know, where should I start? But for me, I've sort of narrowed this down in terms of my field and what I do. And these are my 3 definitions of NLP. NLP is about thinking on purpose. So it's how do we, for ourselves and for others, get people to think in a sequence that is useful for them. And even thinking is a little too narrow, because when I'm using the term thinking, that's the synaptic processes that are going on in the brain, but there's also the synaptic processes that are going on in what they now call the other brain, which is the enteric nervous system. So we have this thinking. That's the picture. We've finished with you now. You can come down. We've done the what is NLP. They'll all fall down constantly, so relax about it. So we've got the sort of the thinking that's to do with the body, which determines state to a great extent. It's connected to state. And we've got the thinking that's to do with the brain, which is to do with the strategy process. So thinking on purpose, it's the study of excellence. So why wouldn't we be using this in the educational field? Seems to me crazy that this is the most obvious place to be using it, is in the area of learning. Because if we're looking at what is it that makes somebody excellent, what makes somebody an excellent learner, what allows somebody to be really brilliant at something. And actually teachers have got it completely wrong. If you ask many teachers what they teach, they'll say, I teach. What do you teach? Go on, you're allowed this one mistake. Well, it's a good question. It is a good question. What do you teach?
Well, of course, the first thing I would say is philosophy.
Right.
But of
So
course,
that was what would come out of your mouth first.
Yeah.
I teach philosophy. You would probably say, I teach NLP. What do you teach?
Well, how to go to bed nicely.
How to go to bed nicely, okay? Your subject area, behavioural stuff. What do you teach?
Dutch as a second
Dutch
language.
as a second language. What do you teach?
A lot of things. How you can help disabled children, how you can help people who are retired now in their head. Our students make some handfuls, I don't know the English word, to help them in their feeling well. It's very difficult to explain. But
Okay, we'll find out more as we go on.
I see.
So usually when people say that, oh, I teach philosophy, I teach languages, I teach mathematics. Well, actually what you teach is people. Different ages, you teach people. And actually what we get our reward from, often, is being the expert in our subject. I am, you know, I have a lovely visual aid. My classrooms get messy, I'll warn you now. That's why you need to relax about the posters. This place will look like chaos by the end of the day. See, because most teachers go along and what they do is they impart their knowledge. And they just shower their students with all the information that they've acquired over time. What do you want to do? Yes, that's exactly what you want to do. Pick it up and throw it back. Because that's actually what most people are doing when they're thinking they're teaching. They're showering their students with their wisdom, and the effect is that the students just want to chuck it back. The job of a teacher is really simple, and I don't claim any, and I shall credit Richard Bamber for this because he said this to me on the phone. And he said, what your job is to go out, find people who do things brilliantly, figure out how they do that brilliantly, and stick it in the other person or the group. So teachers don't need to be experts in a subject at all. They need to be experts in learning and learning strategies. And in my book, everybody, parent, grandparent, uncle, aunt, best friend, should know how to teach somebody to read, teach somebody to write, teach somebody to add up, divide, multiply, some of the basic things, and become intrepid at those things, so that you take every opportunity to do that with a child. I teach children in queues in restaurants. I'm just intrepid, I just don't stop. There was a little girl at a restaurant last week, and she was trying to read the LED display with the waitress's name on the front of it. She was trying to sound it out. She was struggling a little bit, but she was having a go. And her mother was standing there going, oh, she can't read, you know. No, Gemma, she can't read. She can't read, you know. Oh, you can't read, can you, Gemma? Seriously, yes. So I had two choices. I didn't know whether to hit the mother. But actually what I did, I sort of elbowed the mother out of the way, knelt down, and said to Gemma, well, hey, you're doing fantastically well here, Gemma. What's this shaped letter or whatever? So that by the time I came to pay my bill, Gemma could read the name of the waitress. And the mother was standing looking a little bit surprised by this time. So, you know, we should be intrepid teachers. And that's our job, to take the strategy and stick it in the person who needs it. And I not only believe that, but do that regularly. Because people often say, well, that's all right, but you know lots about NLP. Well, I do, that's what I use it. But I've just taught mathematics to a group of people. Some of you may have told you about this last time I saw you. A group of people working in a laundry. Who, with no time off the shop floor, no classroom space like this, looking for learning opportunities. Where could we teach them maths? Where could they learn maths? So we had maps in the smoking shed outside with distance measurements on, so whilst they were having a fag they could work out some calculations of distance. We had games in the refectory, we had a computer set up where they had their lunches. We looked for the learning opportunities, and we produced material to teach them up to level 2 maths. And I'm a rubbish mathematician. I mean, I have no qualifications in that. I've just about got my basic, you know, GCSE maths. But I didn't need that. What I needed to be able to do was to install that in them. So we had maths people going, this is how you do it, and I'm going, okay, what do you do first, what do you do second, what do you do third? Get that down, put it in those people. And we had 20 people who had never had a qualification in their lives, not a single certificate, pass an exam. And it was quite, you know, it was absolutely fantastic. But it's nothing to do with me knowing anything about maths. It's me knowing about how to teach people stuff. So